Welcome back to JB Sports. I'm your host, John the Bird, and today is Wednesday, so you know it is all about the wrestling. So, today we're going to get into mostly Raw because a lot of cool stuff happened there, so I want to talk about that a lot, especially with Gunther. And I'm going to talk about some matches I want to happen, some maybe roster changes, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so first thing is WWE Raw. You had some good matches. The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship #1 contendership was honestly a really good match. Loved it. Really hope Ilya was gonna pull it out, but Yeet himself, Jey Uso, pulled it out. So Jey Uso is amazing wrestler. I love Jey Uso. A lot of people love Jey Uso. Yeet. But with him, it's he's he's over. He's pretty much 100% over. And it's very confusing why you'll have him just keep getting these big matches when you know he's going to end up losing. Like, Braun Breaker is going to hold this Intercontinental Championship for a while, in my opinion, unless WWE has other plans. Yeah, unless I don't see Braun Breaker losing it quick because, he needs it for a long time, establish himself. And Gunther, I don't think he's going to lose a heavyweight championship for a while, too. So it's very confusing why Jey Uso keeps getting these pushes. I mean, I know that, of course, he's over. It's good for business. It's great matches. But also, like, if he's not going to win a title, I'd say put him in, like, high caliber non-title feuds for a while. Having him with the Judgment Day with Rhea and Damien was fun while it's lasted, but I really do believe that that shouldn't last for too long because while it's fun, it's doesn't really serve too much of a purpose for him. He's just helped this wrestler that he's had the hots for a year or whatever it is, and Damian Priest, I mean, he's getting over on himself, so it's not like they really need help. I mean, storyline wise, they do, but realistically, they don't really need help too much. And Jay, I don't think he's losing any flair, any like style he has. He's still very over, and I think he'll stay that way for a while. Like people like LA Knight type, something like that, where they can keep their style and still just be monstrally over for a long time. So with him getting this #1 contendership, he's going to probably lose to Braun Breaker whenever it happens. I think I saw a report that it wasn't going to happen on Bad Blood, so it would happen on a Raw, which I wish would happen on a pay-per-view because I think that's a high-level title match for the Intercontinental Championship, and it's a very good starting feud past Sami Zayn for Braun Breaker. I would love to see Jey Uso as champion somewhere, but right now it looks like it's not going to happen. So I feel like a lot of these storylines Sammy's getting and Jey are getting is going to start to push them to eventually get over to SmackDown for the Bloodline feud. I mean, of course, Jey and Sammy could just still be on Raw and then show up to help on SmackDown, but if they're on the SmackDown brand, it's better. And with this new move to USA, you don't know how they're going to switch things up because I feel like USA and Fox would want two different types of things. So we'll see how it goes. With that, I love Jey. I hope he gets some good feuds, eventually gets a title run because he's got a lot of promise in that. But we'll see what happens with that. So going off of that, Women's Tag Team Championship match, Belair and Cargill versus Alba Fire and Isladon, how you say it. It wasn't like blow your socks off crazy. It was really just an okay match. I mean, I said it before. I don't really want to see Bianca and Jade Cargill as tag team champions really that long and not much for a while because it helps them create eventually that feud between the two. But I feel like that's a long time coming. So unless they hold the championships for a very long time, it doesn't really like hold. I guess you could say it will make it more value, but I feel like these tag team championships are very, very long way from being really credible because it's lost so much credibility. That's why I've been saying make a women's mid card title. I think it could help women's wrestling a lot more than tag team championships. And not that the tag team championship can't have good matches, it can't be good. It's had some good matches. Recently there's been some good matches. There's been a few good feuds, but mostly it's just I don't know, it just doesn't have a flair to it that they probably want it to have. But off of that, you really can't do much about it. So, you know, you just have to go with the role, figure out what Triple H wants to do with it. Next, this isn't in really too much like order, I don't think. I don't remember the order it happened, but Street Fight Wyatt 6 versus American Made. American Made going there with the blue jeans, the hand wraps, stuff like that. Great match. There was some really good moments. Eric Rowan getting put through the table, which was freaking nasty because it looks like his head just slammed against the floor, but I don't think it did. So you had that. You had some good theatrics with them. I love seeing I love seeing any match of them so far. They've been really good. The Wyatt Six have not disappointed. You know, I think were really good at starting the story for it, which everybody was hoping, and it was amazing. I know some people were worried about like them in their actual matches, but all of them are amazing wrestlers, as you could see from yesterday. So it was never really a doubt too much if they could pull through the wrestling. I think other people were a little worried, but for me, I thought they'd be fine because I've seen some of them wrestle in person, like Joe Gacy. I saw him wrestle even before he was in WWE, so I've seen what he could do before. I actually want to talk about that later, just like what I've seen from him before. So we'll see where it goes from here for American Made. I hope they go into a different feud really quickly now. I think they should go against someone like the Judgment Day or the LWO and start picking up wins because they need to pick up wins because they can be a really good faction. I mean, I know it's American Made, but I want to call them the modern day Team Angle, but Team Gable. So that was really what I wanted, but it didn't happen. But Triple H let him cook. Next big thing, one thing I really want to talk about is Bret the Hitman Hart coming back. You had him talking about WB, all that stuff. The meaty part of it was you had Gunther, the champion, the Ring General, come out and confront him. And there was some amazing stuff he talked about. He used Bret's catchphrase. He's like, "You were the best there ever was. There, you were the best there was. I mean, like you were the best. I'm the best there is now, and I'll be the best there ever will be." So he's just using his own catchphrase, talking trash. And then the thing that really got me was he said how he was one of his favorites growing up. Bret the Hitman Hart was one of Gunther's favorite wrestlers growing up. And he said, "You will forever be second to my favorite." And that person was, I thought personally he was going to say Shawn Michaels because I thought that would be hilarious. The other one was even better, but I thought it would be hilarious. I love Shawn Michaels. If you don't know, he's my favorite wrestler of all time. So I said it before Gunther said what I thought he was going to say, which was Shawn Michaels. And then he says, Bill Goldberg. If you guys don't know, Bill Goldberg gave Bret Hart a concussion, would effectively like just ruined his career. He really couldn't. He basically ended it. But it was hilarious to hear that. There was a bunch of jokes about just Bret the Hitman Hart will never give up that grudge on Goldberg, which is probably true. I mean, it kind of sucked what happened, but it was funny to hear that. Bret, I think he kind of took it like a champ. He just sat there with the smile he always has on his face, but it was funny to hear that. I really thought he was going to say Shawn Michaels, but he didn't. Then Sami Zayn came out, defended Bret, called him a hero, all the nine, which is really setting up for the Sami versus Gunther feud, which I think is just going to happen out, uh, Bad Blood, sorry, new pay-per-view, well, new recent pay-per-view, I got to remember it. Bad Blood, which is going to be a great match. I said the Bad Blood is Gunther losing to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, ruining his title reign forever. The longest title reign, not going to say the number because I don't like saying it, but longest intercontinental title reign of all time. So that's the Bad Blood there. Sami's not going to win. I know he's going to be like, "Oh, don't count me out." He's not going to win. So, Sammy fans are going to have to deal with that, but he's not going to win. So then, everything happens. Bret the Hitman Hart calls him a coward. So Gunther didn't like that too much. Sammy got in his way. So no, Bret the Hitman Hart was hurt in the making of that television show. But you like what's going on there with Gunther kind of getting a big moment for his title reign against, one of the greatest ever, Bret the Hitman Hart. So good for his title reign. Then Sami Zayn coming out, a little good promo battle for them to set up their feud for the next pay-per-view. So we like to see that. Next, we had Drew McIntyre and Wade Barrett not getting into it, but close to it. Drew McIntyre started talking a little trash to Wade Barrett about how he was the only one that has been keeping him in reach and stopping him, and then he said, what was it at the show last pay-per-view? He was like, "You got my way" or something, and don't do it again. They started facing off. I thought Wade Barrett was about to come out in retirement and have a crash out. I really thought he was about to have a crash out right then and there. I thought dude was gonna take off the blazer and just start whooping Drew's, behind. So I'd love to see that. I don't think it's ever really gonna happen, but it's a hint. But Adam Pearce comes out, says that CM Punk is not done with Drew McIntyre yet. Drew doesn't believe him. He said, hypothetically, if, CM Punk still wants it, he can come and get it, basically. And Adam Pearce says, oh, I know CM Punk, he still wants to fight you. He's not over with you yet. And then he does the whole, you're going at bad blood and hell in the cell, the whole Vince McMahon type of voice, which I can't do. That was a bad impression. But, basically, it's going to be a really good match. This one will probably get bloody again, especially in Hell in the Cell, because I'm so happy that it's not its own pay-per-view, so it's not a bunch of them. It's going to be something that comes out every so often to make it more important, because once you start doing the same match over and over again, like a special match, not like a one-on-one, because that's the standard match for ones like Hell in the Cell, the steel cage matches. You do those all the time, it gives it less meaning. So you have a Hell in the Cell match every so often for really, really, really big feuds, really bloody feuds like this. It's going to make it so much better. So you have that. I'm really excited for it. Hopefully it does end the feud, because I kind of want to see this one move on. It's been a great feud. It's feeding families, but I want to see something new for CM Punk. And I want to see him maybe eventually go for the title and win it, but we'll have to see where that goes, because, Ring General is not getting rid of that so easily. We had Zelina Vega, Lyra Valkyria, and a mystery partner, which everybody now knows if you watch, was Natalya, versus Pure Fusion Collective. Still don't know why they named it that. It's better that they're just letting Sonya Deville talk, because the other two aren't the greatest on the mic. So they're all good at wrestling, but the other two that aren't good on the mic, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, are really good at wrestling for the most part. So it's good that they let Sonya Deville do the talking more than them. And then Zelina, Lyra, and Natalya, they got the win. I thought they were going to get it because, they were in Canada. So, they're going to give Natty the win, which, good to see her back. I mean, I haven't been too interested in the stuff she's been doing recently, every so often when she comes back. But, good to have her. Good to have an older face back. So, and kind of last thing, Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio. Good match. Dragon Lee, like I said, again, loses a match. Man is getting L after L after L after L after L, which kind of sucks for him, but at the end of it, he'll get his win back eventually. I hope he stays in, because he is very good at wrestling. I'd love to see him get a title, but there's only so many titles to give out. There's only so many stories for the title, and right now he's just not a part of it, which I think is partly due just because he's in the LWO. So LWO is not really going too many places. They're really, really good at wrestling, but so far they just haven't really been too much of a hype recently. So going into some of the other things I want to talk about, some matches I want to see. One match I really want to see, which everybody knows is happening, is CM Punk versus Drew. I've already talked about that. Another one is Gunther versus Sami Zayn. I actually really want to see again, just because I was at WrestleMania. It was such a great match. It was amazing. The Brain Buster, I think it was off the top, like onto the top rope was disgusting. So I want to see if they have another kind of moment like that. But there's a lot of different, feuds that can happen for these titles. Like Ludwig versus Gunther, I know it's not gonna happen for a while, and it might never happen. But I think that feud would be really good. It would be really freaking good. You know, I guess not mentor, but the leader versus the guy in the group. I mean, there's only two of them, but he wants to kind of, weasel his way to the top. Back to Imperium real quick. I know Giovanni Vinci's not in the group, but Giovanni Vinci losing that quick on SmackDown really made me think why. But it is what it is. So, yeah, that was kind of weird. But, Imperium, I like them. I do think that Ludwig will eventually turn on Gunther. I think it would be cool. I think Ludwig is actually a very good character. I mean, he's really good on the mic, in my opinion. He's a solid wrestler. So maybe one day you could see him as Intercontinental Champion, but I don't think too much more than that. But I think he'd be a good like heel IC title holder. Like Gunther, probably not as good because Gunther really did have the best Intercontinental title reign of all time. I'll say it again, backwards, forwards, sideways, 5 minutes later, every second of the day. So I will stand with that. And then some of the other matches, going to Braun Breaker. I think there's some good matches you can have with that. You can have another match with Finn Balor. Those have always been bangers. You know, I do really want to see him and Chad Gable go in the ring together because Chad Gable, everybody knows that streak he had with Gunther. I mean, every match Chad Gable, and he's amazing. Chad Gable's one of my favorites. He's just always on like 100% mode. He always makes every match what it can be. Dude deserves something, especially after having to do that Shorty G gimmick, which terrible. But I feel like that match between him and Braun Breaker would be really good. They're both really good athletes, crazy athletic. He both really strong. So that would be a really good match. I do hope that maybe soon in the future, if some of the AEW guys that are rumored to come to, WWE are actually coming, I hope that, the Lucha Bros actually go against the Judgment Day and take those titles because I really like the newer Judgment Day, but I feel that I don't think I want them to go too long because while it's funny, that's really why I like them, and it's got an okay first gimmick. I really like it because of Finn Balor. Carlito's out of place. JD McDonough, aka Lord Farquaad, whatever you want to call him. He's a really good wrestler. I think he deserves some singles time. Dom Liv, kind of funny at first. It's okay. I don't really like him as much as I liked Dom and Rhea personally. And then, yeah, Finn, I just want to see on by his own, maybe winning a title. We want Finn to have a title other than a tag team championship. Please, Triple H, please. But yeah, Lucha Bros, come take it from them because I want to see them as champs. I think they can be really good. I mean, it might take some time to go up to that, but if they're actually coming, I really do think the rumors are going to be true and they come. But if it is, please give them the titles. If it's not, I just look stupid. So, and then Ricky Starks, hopefully he can come and maybe go like US title route. That would be really cool for him. And then, Cody, there's Randy Orton. I've said it before. I'll say it multiple times. I want to see him go against Randy Orton. Him versus Roman Reigns are bound to happen. There's a rumor that The Rock might be back in a month or two, so that match might be coming up between Cody and The Rock. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, off of that, just a lot of things can happen for the title. Tiffany Stratton, I want to cash it on Nia Jax, please, and just win that title, please. Nia Jax isn't terrible. She's actually gotten way better at wrestling since she's been back. But please, just give the title to Tiffany. I'm begging you, Triple H. I'm begging you. But those are all kind of matches I want to see. There's more that I just either forgot of because I know I had some I was thinking about earlier, but most of those matches are kind of like straightforward. And then the Bloodline had the tag team titles. They were just on NXT. They just like tried to murder people there. But you know, I don't really care for the new Bloodline. I've said it before. I mean, I think they're posers. They're not the first the acknowledged real bloodline. They're not them. So they can be posers all they want. Jacob Fatu is actually kind of scary. That's the one guy I'd be scared of in real life in wrestling. But other than that, Solo's goofy. Tamatanga just makes some random noises. Tongaloa, he's legendary. Tongaloa is definitely infamous. He's legendary. If anyone deserves the title, it's Tongaloa. But yeah, and then Jacob, he's just an animal. He's scary. So going off of those, though, I said earlier, Joe Gacy. I know it's just random to talk about Joe Gacy, or Huskus, I think is the name of his character. But Joe Gacy is actually like an amazing wrestler. I think he's kind of underrated going into WWE because I did see him in an indie promotion, MCW in Maryland. The first time I saw him, it was amazing. He moves really like quick and athletic for like a bigger guy, and his finishing move. I know what he does now is he does like the what is it, the summer? I don't know what, but he bounced against the rope and does like the clothesline lariat. When I saw him in the indie promotion, he did that into a stunner, which was one of the craziest things I've ever seen because that's when like I first started getting into wrestling. How long was that? Like a while ago, but yeah, seeing him in the indie and then eventually see him go to WWE was really cool to see because it was finally like a wrestler that I saw before they kind of got, I guess, big and famous actually make it. So I'll always love Joe Gacy. I hope he does great, and I like his role now. He does it very well. But yeah, the somersault on the ropes, whatever you want to call it, into the stunner was crazy when I saw it in person. So he's really cool. He deserves good things, and I think he is underrated and goes off the radar. So he is going to go places, hopefully. But yeah. And then other things to think about Bad Blood, like I said, Hell in the Cell match. Cody, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we said Solo, um, Gunther, Sammy. I don't know if like any of the women's, unless you do Liv versus Rhea, will probably be on there. That will be a good match. I know I made predictions last week, but I'm just trying to rehash them. Hmm. And those are the ones I really think of for now. Other Bad Blood matches. I mean, you could just have a normal singles match versus Andrade versus Carmelo, but I don't really know if that'll happen at a pay per view level because I really do like the storyline, but I don't know if it's a pay per view storyline yet. Just because Andrade does not get the amount of love he should. So, and then the last thing I kind of want to talk about is I saw an article. Don't know how true it is or not. The wrestler that it talks about. Matt Riddle forgets a bunch of things sometimes. He forgot that one line in the little promo he had with Asuka, which was hilarious. But he says that the potential WWE return is extremely high, which I like Matt Riddle a lot. I got a card of him autographed. It was his, I think it was like the first one of the was it televised NXT matches? I don't remember, but it was him versus Adam Cole. It's when he was in the white shorts, and it was an amazing match for the NXT title. But it was a picture of that match. I remember it because I watched it live. But great match. Love Adam Cole. I wish he was in WWE still, but Vince only saw him as manager material. Vince, you dropped the ball again, and you won't drop another ball because you're not in it anymore for specific reasons. But Matt Riddle coming back to WWE, that would be really fun. Honestly, I don't know if it will ever happen. I know he says it's extremely high, but it's Matt Riddle, so he's probably extremely high. But yeah, so him coming back, I think, like I said, matches for him. He'll go back after the bloodline. I don't know if he'll go after. He might go after, I guess, Solo, but I don't really know if Solo intercepted with him too much. I think that was more just the Usos. But Matt Riddle, funny character. the original bro. Some of the storylines he could go into, I mean, I could see him going against like LA Knight, going into that realm. I don't think he'd go against really Cody yet because I don't know if he came back how fast he'd go into title pictures. I mean, he can finally challenge for the undisputed title again because when Roman was champ, he could never challenge for it again, so he could have a chance. I mean, him versus Gunther again, those were some good matches they had. You have him versus, like I said, LA Knight. Braun Breaker wouldn't be bad. Most champions he could face would be really good. Some of the other feuds he could have, it's kind of random, but him versus Andrade, I think would be good. Both like heavy hitters. But yeah, Matt Riddle in WWE would be very enticing, very cool to see again. Like I said, it's coming from Matt Riddle. He says that the chances are extremely high, but once again, Matt Riddle could be extremely high. So you don't know what's true and you don't know what's not true. But this has been an episode of JB Sports Wrestling Wednesdays. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week. Watch out for Friday and maybe a video or two. We'll see. And enjoy your week. Thank you.